It has risen again. Sir Daniel Fortescue, see? The hero of Gallowmere who fell at the first charge. The fog of war and the shrouds of time conspire to turn the arrow fodder into the saviour of the day. But we knows better. Let it alone. Fate has given it a second chance. A chance to forget the ignoble truth. A chance to defeat Sarok and live up to the legend. We hopes it does well.
You will find life bottles throughout Gallowmere. They contain the same magic that rose you from your slumber and will raise you from the dead once again. When your life is low, using this bottle will help you feel a little better. And remember to fill it when you can. When you're ready to leave this crypt, you'll find an exit at the end of the hall. To unlock the gates, you must find a runestone and place it in the ornate hand set next to the doorway. Any treasure that you find will be added to your coin total. Coins are used to buy items from the greedy merchant gargoyles. You must be out of shape after 100 years lying on your back. Use the crypt to get to grips with your new lease on life. Some weapons contain powers and abilities beyond the ordinary. Be sure to test every weapon to discover their secondary abilities. Some weapon abilities are immediate, and some may need a bit of time to charge before they realize their full potential. During your travels through Gallowmere, you will collect many items. To see your items or to use one, review your inventory. In it, you will also find your Book of Gallowmere, which will keep a record of the denizens you've encountered and bestow you with keen insights that only a disembodied voice could provide. Track down Zarok by retracing his diabolical odyssey through Gallowmere. You can spot the exits from an area by looking out for his stinking trail of magic slime. Welcome back to your beloved Gallowmere. The stinking dead have risen up to dance with the lifeless living, and they want to do it over your dead body. That small light following you around is a wisp. The heroes of the Hall are not supposed to intervene in mortal affairs, but when they heard that Sir Daniel Fortescue had a shot at redemption, well, they decided to give you a hand with your depth perception. He will circle enemies, helping you direct your ranged attacks, but he'll also let you know what things might merit a closer look. Don't let zombies get you down. Tend those wounds by stepping into this fountain of rejuvenation. Sometimes it may be useful to view the world from a different point of view. Be sure to take a moment from time to time to enjoy the beauty of our beloved Gallowmere. Keep your eye peeled for anything interesting. Remember, nothing remains hidden under the gaze of an angel. The object here is the chalice. Every time you dispatch an enemy with a sword, the chalice fills a little more. Fill the chalice and then collect it, and you will be worthy of visiting the sacred Hall of Heroes to claim a new weapon. There is a chalice to be found in every region of Gallowmere. They are all hidden or well guarded. Only a true hero will collect the full set. The living world lies beyond these skull gates. The master of the hilltop mausoleum, the stained glass demon, has possession of the skull key. Feel free to have a paddle in the shallow water, but don't be tempted to go for a swim. Buoyancy can be a problem for those of a dead disposition.
Tread softly. Zarek awaits beyond these gates. The Master meets with the demon from the mausoleum, hatching plots of purest evil. Forgotten nobodies would be wise to make themselves scarce. Welcome to the Hall of Heroes, where the bravest warriors from history spend eternity, feasting, singing, and arm wrestling. If they think you're worthy enough, you may be able to persuade them to give you a new weapon.
To pay homage to the heroes, stand in front of their designated statues and await spiritual guidance.
Captain Fortescue, it's me, Canny Tim. Does the battle go well? How I wish I could fight at your side again, sir. But hold, you could take my crossbow. It's got rapid fire and you can ricochet the darts off walls to shoot around corners. I used it at the Battle of Gallowmere. After you were slain, I shot Zarek's champion, Lord Kardak. A clean kill through the eye at some 1,000 yards. Not that there's anything clever about shooting someone in the eye, sir. Oh, goodbye, sir.
Only when you are truly worthy as a hero will you be able to ascend to the higher level of this hall. When you have paid homage to all of the heroes in the lower hall, the ghostly stairs will then become solid.
So, even from the shackles of death, my old enemy pursues me. You're too late, Fortescue. Already my army has risen from the grave. You will never leave this necropolis.
Some obstructions can be smashed down with clubs and certain other weapons. Try experimenting. These boulders are going to crush your bones if you aren't careful. I hope you have a good shield equipped. Remember that each hit on your shield will chip away at its durability. Better it than you, though. Of great archaeological interest. Destroy the boulder and plunder the valuable treasures within.
Fresh air. We hate these dark old caves and their filthy stench of old witches. A coven of the warty old hags lived here once, unholy fires burning all night while they brewed up unspeakable muck in their cauldrons. They moved on years back, but the smell still makes our eyes sting.
A guide to covens for witches and witchcraft enthusiasts. A witch's coven would reach the height of its power only when all of their sacred flames were alight. Witches have been known to offer help to the questing adventurer, yet they are a reclusive people and have to be summoned by the aid of mystic charms or talismans. Let it be known that help from a witch is rarely given freely, and the witch will more often than not make a request of the adventurer before any such help is given. If seeking to summon a witch, remember that they are quite territorial. Any signs of previous witch activity in an area is a good indication that a witch can be called upon. The adventurer would be wise to be thorough in the exploration of an area. Hidden locations reap great rewards.
Back from the battle so soon? It must think it is a hero by now. But only a true hero is worthy of a place in the Hall of Heroes. See the ghostly statue of your fraudster self? When it has turned solid, a true hero you will be.
It would take more than an army of the evil dead to throw your strider. I've something that may help you on your quest, Captain. I give it to you freely, though I have no idea what it is.
You are entering a house of pain. Rumors abound of evil doings in the secret catacombs below this very hall. Watch out for sticky-fingered imps. These thieves will strip you down to your armored undies. Rumor has it they fence their stolen wares with the merchant gargoyles. The stained glass demon is the master of the mausoleum. His wretched soul lies preserved inside a frozen glass heart. Shrouded in a veil of darkness beneath the mausoleum, you will find this pre-frozen menace. The would-be phantom longs to play a new tune, but he seems doomed to repeat the same cause of despair over and over.
It's the Hall of Heroes shopping mall. Bargain hunters should check out the ground floor. Well-to-do shoppers should check out the upper floor. That's where it's at.
Ah, Fortescue! What's this I hear about that archcad Zarok still being alive? Thought you killed the fella. Never mind, you old warhorse. Better show him what's what, eh? I expect Johnny's zombies a bit more of a handful than you remember. How are you doing for weapons? Here, take my warhammer. It'll smash anything and it won't fall apart like a club. I only ever get to use it cracking walnuts around this place. Nonsense, Fortescue. I won't take no for an answer. Knock a few heads for old Stan your iron hewer, eh?
Who's a clever skeleton, then? Remember that there are many more secret areas like this throughout the land of Gallowmere, some offering more than just treasure. Want to be faster on your feet? Want to be able to bash down walls by charging into them? All you have to do is defeat the evil guardians of the graveyard and gain this new ability. You will never know why you left the grave without it.
All has changed outside the necropolis. Paths go this way, paths go that way. Nasty, painful death waits round every turn and over every hill. Bon voyage.
Fortescue. Some of the other chaps wagered Zarok would be using your ribcage as a toast rack for now. But I knew you'd pull through. Here, I have a little extra something here I can give you. Could help the old quest. You want it?
Keep out! This gate leads to the tomb of the shadow demons. Like a giant magpie, the dragon bird sits upon its hoard of stolen treasures. High above the trees, you will find a nest. Oh, those eggs are worth their weight in gold.
enter. The shadow demons are entombed within, separated from the world of goodness and light until the earth cracks open. No one, not even the Dark Lord Zarek, can release them without the shadow artifact. Leave now, or share their doom.
There used to be a coven of witches in the caves beneath Cemetery Hill. The whole forest never smelt the same since.
Who has summoned the Witch of the Forest? Oh, it is you, Sir Fortescue. Forgive me, my lord. I have never met a real hero. Forgive me, just an old lady's little joke. In truth, I am glad to see you, Sir Fortescue. I need 7 pieces of amber that are hidden in the ant's nest. Bring them to me, and I can grant you a special reward. I will only offer you this quest this once. Are you willing to give it a try? Sorry, didn't I mention I'd have to shrink you to the size of an insect? Now hurry back.
For releasing me, sir. My people wish only to live our lives in blissful harmony with nature. But alas, the wicked Egg Queen has many of us imprisoned. Rescue my people, Mr. Fortescue, and you will be richly rewarded. Entrance for you. These fireflies are my friends. They will light your way through the darkness below.
This magic portal was crafted by the fairies. It appears to have been created to prevent something escaping from the tunnels below. If you are brave enough to go beyond this point, you will enter the chamber of the dreaded Queen Ant.
I've never been there myself, but I've heard they got a free bar.
Bless me, if it isn't Daniel, Lord of the Ants. Hold still, and I'll remove the shrink spell. Oh, lovely, lovely Amber. Here you are, Sir Knight. A wart-covered and cabbage-smelling old crone I may be, but I always keep my promises. I grant you my reward.
Fortescue, you jawless arrow magnet, what are you doing back here? What? Call me Mr. Woden the Mighty. How I pity the people of Gallowmere, that their fate should once again be in the hands of a chump like you. Still, I suppose it's not fair to take it out on them. Take my sword, and do try not to stab yourself in the foot. You know, I've always had my doubts about you, Fortescue. You're just not carved from hero material.
The scarecrows are almost unstoppable, so don't be a hero. If you can't beat them, try trapping them while you make your escape. Using your new Daring Dash ability should help you get ahead of them quickly. The Beware of mischief makers and metal machines. Who knows what dark sorcery brings their metal limbs to life? It would be good to see the back of such menaces. These fields are home to many mad machines, yet the most bizarre of them is housed within this barn. Death waits in the cornfield. Pick your route carefully and do not linger in the corn. Katura, the Serpent Lord, yearns to fight alongside you, but has been captured by Zarok and sealed within a chest. Free this mighty spirit and earn a powerful ally. The corn-cutting machine is missing a part. A cog fell off this miracle of modern agriculture, and it hasn't worked since.
Pumpkin Gorge, dead ahead. The nursery to Galomir's favorite side dish. Step inside and understand the true horror of fruit gone bad. Gaining allies in the Hall of the Heroes is the way forward. Hack, choppity chop, off with a few zombies' heads, and it thinks it can redeem itself in battle. You still have a long way to go to rank as the best.
By God, Fortescue! You must be the luckiest corpse ever to walk the face of the earth. I have something here I can lend to you. Take it or leave it, but remember, I'm only doing this for the sake of Galomir's doomed population, and not for you, you gangly buffoon!
Up and down these magical mushrooms go. They will take you higher and higher, but be careful not to fall and sink without a trace.
bow down before the master of the vegetable patch. The prize-winning plant who can summon an army of cabbage with a wave of his noble tendril. He's delicious, he's nutritious, he's Zarok's secret recipe. He's the Pumpkin King.
Look at you running around in your bones, Fortescue. You're so nouveau dead. I, Ravenhooves, last prince of the Centaurs, have not galloped the earth in over 10,000 years. Do yourself a favor, Fortescue. Take my longbow. More powerful than a crossbow. The option of flaming arrows, it is truly the weapon of noblemen. Congratulations! You don't quite have my breeding, Mr. Johnny-come-lately, but there's hope for you yet.
The King Pumpkin sleeps. If you want an audience with this regal plant, you should mash all of his pod sacks. It is rumored that the Pumpkin Witch is in possession of a much sought-after dragon gem. If you have a witch talisman, you could summon this kindly witch.
Greetings, kind sir. I am the Pumpkin Witch. I'm like a mother to those pumpkins. I give them all the love and care a young fruit could ever ask for. From the moment they first push a shoot above the soil, right up until their heads are cut off and eaten. And look, see how they repay me, running around and causing mischief. That nasty old big pumpkin has a bad influence on the young seedlings. If you teach him a lesson in manners, I might give you a nice present. A most edifying spectacle, sir. Man and vegetable in a magnificent duel to the death. Oh, I've come over all of a doodar. Here, have this lovely dragon gem as your reward. Oh, lovely majestic creatures dragons are. Dan. Don't be shy. I've seen you giving me the eye. You may be weak and feeble like old men, but I like you, Daniel. Now listen up. Your bow and arrows are fine for itty-bitty jobs, but if you want to pack some serious heat, you should take this spear.
Poor villagers. The master possesses them. It mustn't hurt them. Hurt guards, though. They seek out an object of great power.
Blacksmith's Monthly. Old Man Willie Green of Gallowstown was awarded Smithy of the Season by our readers. His outstanding casts have produced many intricate and hard-wearing iron goods and sculptures. Willie only uses the finest of metals in his work, and is particularly noted for his magnificent busts. Old Man Willie was quoted as saying, "Aye, when I get pumping on me bellows, there's no stopping me. It's all in the rhythm, up and down, up and down. I've always been inspired by the stories of Stan your Iron Hewer, the greatest smithy there ever was." A crucifix once stood here, but the mayor took it. Find a replacement and see how the church should really look. Our bone-headed protagonist, born again into this age of wonders. In life, he was just the worst. A coward, a cheat, a philatelist, or was it a philanderer? I don't recall. But either way, he seems to have woken up different. Perhaps he can redeem himself. Xerox should be more careful where he aims his dark magic. Morton was so happy when Dan died. Surely he initially had a lot of housework to do, but now he's got the place to himself and just how he likes it. Of course, Dan coming back to life was a bit of a shock, but Morton will do anything he can to keep his home buddy safe and get him back to the earthy darkness as quickly as possible. Can you imagine how boring it would be to be a sentient being, wise even, and be stuck permanently to a brick wall? No wonder these guys are grumpy. They pass time by eavesdropping, gossiping, and bad-mouthing any bizarre-looking adventurers that might pass by. The mightiest heroes of Gallowmere are awarded a place in the Hall of Heroes. It's an exclusive club with access paid for by only the greatest of deeds. Who runs the place? We don't know. How do the heroes pass the time for all eternity? We don't know. But trust me, these heroes are the best of the best, and they deserve every moment of whatever it is they do up there. Even in medieval times, there were vending machines designed to part a foolish hero from his gold. Clever customers may qualify for a discount. Just don't ask the merchant how he acquires his wares. The imps of the Hilltop Mausoleum grew tired of the Phantom's incessant practice sessions and hid his sheet music away. Like most impish plans, this one backfired. The Phantom continues to bang the keys, but sorely lacks improvisational skills. This formidable serpent was somehow lured into a tiny chest and trapped by men working for King Peregrine. Probably it must have been a magic chest, because really, this is one huge serpent to fit in such a small box. But anyhow, the king believed he had imprisoned the evil serpent of Gallowmere, when in fact it was kindly serpent Lord Cole Katura that he had unboxed. Katura is probably going to have a big hug for whoever sets him free, and an ever tighter one for their enemies. Winner of the Jolliest Witch in Gallowmere Award for the 4th consecutive year. Wartilda actually runs a successful potions business and makes cool cheddar from her pumpkin spice profiteering. The other witches are secretly jealous. Once part of the infamous Cemetery Hill Coven, Imelda was ostracized by her sisters when she refused to stop using the communal cauldron to prepare her notoriously pungent lunchtime brews. She now resides in the Enchanted Earth, where no one complains. Or at least if they do, she just turns them into a toad. And seriously, do not lick those toads. A proud and fair race, the fairies were rulers of the underground world until that fateful day when the Ant Queen invaded their turf. Honestly, we don't know why the ants have them imprisoned, but for some reason, fairy magic doesn't seem to work against ants. Seems odd to me, but hey, I don't make the rules. These guys were fashionably undead before it was fashionable to be undead. Your brain may have long since rotted, but that won't stop them from eating it. Just a few chops should do them in. Be careful not to miss. Oh, that would be embarrassing. Dan's #1 fans. They can't afford to lend a hand, but they'll follow you to the ends of the earth, or at least to the end of the graveyard. These guardian gargoyles aren't much for conversation, and don't ask to hear their singing voice, unless you're into rock and roll. Ba-doom-tsh. Have you ever had one of those days where you leave the house full of breezy purpose, only to realize that you've left something really important at home? Well, that's how these guys feel all the time. Back in King Peregrine's day, imps were often kept as household servants. Sadly, those were cruel times, and many imps were treated very poorly by their masters. Really, it was no surprise when these cunning little creatures formed a secret alliance with Xerox. On the morning of the Battle of Gallowmere, every last one of King Peregrine's men awoke to find his house imp gone, and along with them every last undergarment in the kingdom. Never before had an army's charge been so devastatingly broken before battle had even begun. Isn't nature wonderful? This beautiful family of wolves has found a happy home in the graveyard. Back in their den, 6 cute, squirmy little pups are waiting for good old Mom and Pop to return with delicious, fresh meat. Well, perhaps graveyard meat isn't the most fresh, but at least it's easily found and safe. But let me tell you, elsewhere in Gallowmere, vengeful farmers have hunted these majestic beasts to the point of extinction. Oh, thank goodness this last happy little family is here, amid the peace and tranquility of the graveyard, where absolutely no harm can befall them. These straw men spin to win. They have teamed up with the crows to protect their cornfield home from strangers, whom they greet with sharp, spinning affection. Nothing comes easy for these poor farmers. As Gallomere's population declines, so does the demand for their crops. It's no wonder they hide in haystacks. Show them some sympathy and let them stab you a couple of times, eh? Industrious thieving imps built these powerful machines to steal crops from the farmers. Personally, I think they do better mass-producing these things and selling them to the farmers, but hey, thieves gotta thieve. These dreaded cornstalkers are utterly silent, totally invisible, and 100% deadly. They're also just about the cheapest solution a time-strapped video game developer could ever conceive to stop the player going where they're not wanted. Rejoice. They're vampire bats. Actually, they're just bats, but they bite. That's sort of vampire-y. These once good-natured pumpkins fell victim to the Pumpkin King's toxic influence. They're still tasty if you can convince them not to murder you, but perhaps you should think about things from their perspective. Well, how would you feel if someone wanted to scoop out your brains and carve a big, goofy smile across your face? Fresh off the vine, these baby boomers are in too much of a hurry to grow up. They can't wait to spread their pumpkin seed. These rats seem harmless, but they have tiny fingers, and they're probably plotting something terrible. Each rat you squish is an act of treason against the mighty Rat King Derek. Hypnotized citizens of a once thriving town. They'll happily invite you in for tea, but if they ask to borrow a shovel, you should probably decline. Is this really what the ancient dragons evolved into? Their dreadful ancestors would be ashamed. Don't lick their backs. That's a good way to end up in the loony bin. No, really, just don't. Poisonous pollen protects these plants from predators. Just to be safe, they fire it at everything. can never be too careful these days. Fascinating creatures, ants. Did you know they're as old as the dinosaurs? That they talk using chemicals? Or that they share a hive mind? And contrary to popular belief, they actually have no interest whatsoever in your pants. It is said that Xeroc's preoccupation with necromancy stems from an obsession to resurrect his childhood puppy. Let's just reflect for a moment. Isn't that just tragic? All this poor troubled soul has ever wanted is to command the forces of darkness, enslave mankind, and play ball one last time with dear old Mr. Snuffy. I always thought it was a bad idea when they put a demon on their stained glass window. Isn't that a little odd for a holy place? I said. What if a passing sorcerer brings it to life using arcane magic? I said. But did they listen? Yes, he might have a glass jaw, but if you think shattering his dark heart is going to be easy, oh, you'd better think again. Humanity's last line of defense against the restless undead. They prevent bony beings from escaping to the land of the living. Man's best friend, but not Dan's best friend. A terrifying reminder of the perils of competitive vegetable growing, this sinister squash has become a terrible influence on his once peaceful pumpkin. Xeroc's magic has created the ultimate superfood. This is one ghoulish gourd that's simply bustin' for a dustin'. She's not just a set of legs. There's a whole devoted mother bird up there. And no one treasures her eggs more than this bird mama. They may someday hatch into beautiful baby birds, or maybe just into beautiful bags of gold, or bags of golden babies. Who knows? Although accustomed to letting her soldiers do all the fighting, this is one tough bug lady. She's an acid-spitting queen who will fight to her last gasp to defend the brood of insect infants incubating inside her egg sac. Oh, if only there was an airlock you could flush her out of. The rune key is held aloft by the flow of water from the fountain. You may have to wait for the next drought. bust of Mr. Shanks, landlord of the Troll's Head. To clean the statue, lower the pedestal.
Hurry, comrades, tear this place apart. If we don't find the shadow artifact, Lord Zarek will have us mocking out the demons for the next millennium.
History of Gallowmere, Volume 1. During the dark time that was Gallomere's not too distant past, it was King Peregrine who thwarted Zarok the Necromancer and his plan to enslave the land. Zarok, once the king's mage, had fallen out of favor with the ruler for conducting outlandish experiments on the bodies of the dead. It was said that deep within Peregrine Castle, the dead were restless. The dead are to be honored, not kept as the playthings of alchemists, declared King Peregrine as he banished Zarok from the castle. All of Zarok's living dead were routed out and destroyed. Zarok, being an unforgiving soul, went into hiding and vowed to wreak his revenge on the king. History of Gallowmere, Volume 2. Rumors of ill-doing and dark deeds abounded through the land of Gallowmere. It was whispered that Zarok had employed the aid of shadowy demons to help build a vast castle. Under the cover of night, Zarok's dark army spilled forth from their corrupt haven. The army marched south across the Silver Mountains and through the Silver Woods. Soon afterwards, even the Pumpkin Lands belonged to Zarok. The folk of Gallows Town cried out for help. "Save us, good King Peregrine." Retaliation was swift and violent. King Peregrine's forces, led by the brave Sir Fortescue, drove Zarok's army back from Gallows Town. Oh, there was much rejoicing, but the war was not yet over. History of Gallowmere, Volume 3. News that Zarok's army had now taken the Floodlands caused much concern. From this vantage point, Zarok could march west to take the Enchanted Forest. This sacred place would prove a bitter defeat if it fell into the hands of the evil sorcerer. It was Sir Dan Fortescue who once again led the king's militia to rid the demon host from the land. Yet the evil wizard was cunning and had prepared an ambush. Titanic battle ensued, of which history has never seen the like. It is said that the day would have gone to Zarok, but for the skill and valor of one man. Fortescue led the charge deep into the massed ranks of the undead, felling Zarok's bodyguard, the fearful Lord Kodok, and before finally succumbing to his own mortal wounds, slew the traitorous sorcerer with a mighty sweep of his sword. History of Gallowmere, Volume 4. The forces of evil were destroyed, but at a terrible price. None but a handful of the king's militia returned from that field. Gallowmere lost a whole generation of young men that day, including Canny Tim, the legendary crossbowman, and Fortescue's second-in-command, who fell in the first volley of arrows. Xeroc's body was never found, though if it lies unmourned in an unmarked grave, then no one in Gallowmere would shed a tear. The shadow demons that had fallen under Xeroc's banner were unnatural creatures that did not belong in the world of mortal men. The king declared that they be banished, entombed under the pure earth of the enchanted earth. Imprisoned within an impregnable box of the king's design, the demons were buried deep underground. Their tomb was sealed with a magical device that has since come to be known as the Shadow Artifact. Tourist's Guide to Gallowmere, Part 1. The land of Gallowmere is a wondrous land of breathtaking sights and adventure. If it's beauty you are looking for, be sure to check out the sights of the Enchanted Forest. Scale the heights and see the nests of giant dragon birds. Seek out weird and wonderful plant life. Go ooh and ah at the sight of baby dragon toads splashing about in the crystal clear ponds. Why not take a walk through the Pumpkin Valley? Pumpkin is Gallowmere's favorite dish, and about now the valley is just bulging under the weight of young podlings awaiting harvest. Tourist Guide to Gallowmere, Part 2. If it's mystery you're looking for, then the seasoned adventurer should travel to the ruins of King Peregrine's castle. Yes, this is the fortress from which the fabled King Peregrine once hailed. It is said that the king's crown was lost in the dungeons below the castle, and that the ghost of the regent himself now haunts these cold stone passageways. Spooky. Why not take the swamps and seek out the mythical town of Mellowmead? This place was once said to be a place of fantastical arcane alchemy, but an age has passed since it was consumed by the murky swamps. Perhaps great treasure awaits any adventurer that can locate its watery resting place. Heroes from History, a retrospective. Chapter 1. In addition to being the strongest man who ever lived, Stanier Ironhewer was unsurpassed in his skill as a blacksmith. He was equally happy pounding on his anvil at home as he was pounding on someone's head in battle. It was said that his only fear was the end of the village smithy as the focus of manufacture in favor of more centralized units. As if. To whom it may concern, I must make haste, for Xeroc's men will be here within the hour. I have taken the crucifix from the church. It is the key to a key. I used the cross to make the attached cast. Then I had it destroyed. It is my hope that this cast falls into the hands of a just and good hero. Signed, the Town Mayor. Dear Sir or Madam, on my travels across Gallowmere, I have come across many mysterious and enchanting finds. However, that which filled me with deepest dread was discovery of the tomb of the Shadow Demons. The key to their dank prison, the mysterious Shadow Artifact, is now in my possession. Yours fearfully, the Town Mayor. Capture that greedy profiteer, the Town Mayor. Take him to the asylum dungeons. Give the fat boy a good going over. Locate the Shadow Artifact. Bring me back something nice.
Back and forth like a supernatural yo-yo. Maybe the Master will make it harder to find those magic egg cups.
Hey, Mr. Fortisque! I want to talk with you. If this Zorak's so bad, why'd you get to go back? Why'd you of all people, Fortisque? It should be I, Blood Monatha Skull Cleaver. When I lived, always I had a pile of slain strewn around me. You spend most of your time organizing and changing of the guard and playing croquet with the king. Still, I lend you my axe. You swing her, you throw her. She thirsts for a slaughter as much as I. Drink deep of demon blood, my proud beauty.